And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Hello again, everyone, and thanks for joining us for this Sunday's edition of Alaska Weather. Up first, we've still got coastal flood warnings going here for the Yukon Delta coast, Nunivak Island, St. Lawrence Island, and all the way up here to the northwest coast. And now there are coastal flood advisories here for the western and central Arctic coast out for minor beach erosion with heavy surf here as that low tracks up to the north and winds kick in a little bit up in that area, which they are already currently doing. And then high wind warnings continue here in the interior, in the red shaded areas along here, and wind advisories here in the central part of the state for winds gusting 40 to 60 miles per hour, and still looking at 50 to 70 mile an hour possible wind gusts, although winds coming down this afternoon. No longer seeing the strong gusts we saw earlier last night here down over the southwest interior, but still pretty windy, enough to carry the wind warnings into this evening, overnight tonight there, and still some gusty winds expected there through the Alaska Range. And top wind gusts, Tooksuk Bay, 100 miles per hour, St. George Island, 91 miles per hour occurring last night, and Unalaska had 79 mile per hour wind gusts, and Bethel and St. Mary's had 76 mile per hour wind gusts. And for the satellite imagery here, you can see the low tracking northeastward throughout the day, starting out coming on shore just east of Nome and just west of Golovin. So the very strong winds occurring over eastern Norton Sound today, with lighter winds back toward Nome and into the Bering Strait. That low tracking up, weakening now as it passed over Kotzebue Sound, moving across the Brooks Range. And again, wind gusts here are not anything as high as they were earlier down over the southwest interior, with those strong winds when that low passed up along the Kuskokwim Delta coast or just to the west there. That brought some of the highest water levels I've ever seen along the Kuskokwim Delta coastline there in toward Kipnik and those areas. Otherwise, the front pulling across to the east, bringing some areas of light rain and also some gusty winds up about 50 miles an hour at Anchorage International Airport today. And then you can see some breaks clearing in the milder air back behind the front, with good southerly winds pushing temperatures well above freezing into the Anatuvik Pass area and some areas of the western Brooks Range. Otherwise, down to the south, just some showers with lighter winds. And the southeast coast here, looking at pretty nice conditions, although clouds starting to increase there, as you can see, spilling into the northern areas. And eventually some rain will come in. Down in here, we've got another developing system down over the south of the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutians that tonight will track northeastward right into eastern Bristol Bay. That'll bring more rain into southern Alaska and actually spread it into the central and northern panhandle. Look for some light rain to arrive at least toward morning, staying drier down to the south there. Break here over the central interior. And that low tracks off to the east to just west of Banks Island by late tonight and early tomorrow morning. And colder air coming down, snow, areas of blowing snow with the winds diminishing from west to east here. So strongest over the eastern Arctic coast later tonight and into early tomorrow, with much lighter winds now over the western interior and the Bering Sea as well here, as that system continues to weaken, pull off to the northeast quite rapidly. Low pressure out over the west central Bering Sea, producing a lot of showers, light rain, and breezy conditions over just about all areas out in that location, with the windiest and wettest conditions there associated with these two troughs from Amchitka Island over in toward Atka Island. Something of a break here for the Pribilof Islands and the eastern Aleutians. And for tomorrow, see this low tracks up into the Tanana Valley there across the central Brooks Range by the afternoon hours. Mixture of precipitation north of the Alaska Range, but mostly in the form of rain here across southern Alaska into the Copper River Basin and down into Cook Inlet, starting to become more showery in the afternoon. Just some isolated showers tomorrow afternoon for Kodiak Island, scattered showers here over the southwest interior, but winds pretty light by comparison here over the southwest coast up into the northern Bering Sea, and even finally dropping off for the eastern Arctic coast there as that low continues to pull off to the northeast and weaken. Still barely on the chart for tomorrow afternoon. Another weaker low here hanging back, keeping some areas of snow going from the Bering Strait, northern Seward Peninsula, across the Noatak Valley into the western Brooks Range there. And a lot of showers here with some troughs over the Bering Sea. Next front, warm front here with a low complex off to the west and southwest there will develop into a storm, the next intense storm. But first we have this front bringing more rain into the panhandle there, at least the northern areas. Southern areas stay dry, more under the influence of the higher pressure there to the south. And then for the day on Tuesday, actually, things moving quite rapidly. This front moves through Tuesday or Monday evening and Monday night. This low down to the southwest tracks, wrong way, there we go, tracks northeastward quite rapidly across the Yakutat area. Mid-afternoon Tuesday or so with another front swinging rain now, getting a little farther to the south into the southern panhandle. Definitely wet, windy conditions back into the picture here for the southeast coast. And that low tracks inland around the Yakutat area. So Copper River Basin seeing some rain, showers, Prince William Sound. Improving conditions though, just scattered showers south central Alaska, Kenai Peninsula, mostly dry, some sunshine for Kodiak Island, northeast Bristol Bay. Showers out here to the west, continued south to north flow, keeping temperatures mild with rain showers all the way up into the Seward Peninsula. Maybe a mix there for the western Brooks Range, but that'll be pretty light. Dry for the eastern Beaufort Sea coast and North Slope area. And then you can see, back it up here, this system, as I started to talk about here a little bit ago, develops into another intense storm system, 954 millibar low tracking to near Atka Island or just to the south here, with the front bringing storm force winds into the Alaska Peninsula, eastern Aleutians, maybe even wrapping back down behind there into the central Aleutians. And then we'll see for the Wednesday outlook, that storm takes a track farther to the south along the Alaska Peninsula. Yesterday it looked like it would move up into Kuskokwim Bay area, which would really put the Bristol Bay area and Alaska Peninsula into the strong wind category. But with it taking a more southerly track, you can see much slacker gradient with easterly flow, the northeast flow here, and a lot of moisture caught up in that flow. So periods of rain here for the northern Bering Sea right across the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta into the Kuskokwim Valley. Strong gale force winds pushing up in toward the Kenai Peninsula, Barren Island areas, as well as the Gulf of Alaska and in toward the North Gulf Coast. But to the north here, dry with some clearing all the way up to the eastern Arctic coast. Showers for the east central Aleutians, another system developing here and moving on to the chart there with some light rain pushing in toward Shimei and Attu. High pressure keeping it dry over the panhandle, partly mostly sunny skies over toward, say, Wrangell, southward there toward Heidelberg, and in toward Misty Fjords, Metlakatla, Ketchikan, staying pretty nice here, but rain building just to the west. And it looks like on Thursday this low will track eastward here. And by Thursday afternoon, actually, it'll push up just south of Prince William Sound. So that's going to drive this front and rain and wind right into the southeast coast now. And wet conditions for the North Gulf Coast, into the Kenai Peninsula, back into the Bristol Bay area with this hangback low here just off the Kuskokwim Delta coastline there. Strong northwest winds, or actually west-northwest winds here, bringing a lot of shower activity from the Pribilofs right on down to the Alaska Peninsula. Some scattered showers in the form of rain or snow over the upper Tanana Valley 40-mile country, but the northern area is pretty dry, a little breezy, east-northeasterlies, maybe up to 25 miles an hour in gusts. Some rain and snow for St. Lawrence Island. Weaker system here bringing some light rain into the far western Aleutians. And for the lows tonight, 20s and 30s over the northern interior, 30s and 40s to the south, with mostly in the 40s for the Bering Sea and the Aleutians, as well as the southeast coast, upper 30s to upper 40s. And then for the highs tomorrow, upper 40s to lower 50s. Actually, Prince of Wales Island looking at temperatures 55 to 60, upper 40s and mid 50s. Southern Alaska in the 40s in the central interior. 30s from the Brooks Range of the Arctic coast right on down towards St. Lawrence Island. And the lows for Tuesday morning in the 20s from northern Koyukuk, Kobuk Valley areas northward to the Alaska or to the Arctic coast. And central interior, lower 30s, lower to mid 30s, and still above normal in the 40s here for south central Alaska, and in the 40s and near 50 for the Panhandle. Be followed by highs in the 50s, well into the 50s, 55 to 60 again for Craig and Kwok, Prince of Wales Island, upper 40s to lower to mid 50s, south central Alaska, Kodiak Island, mostly in the 40s here through the central interior, and then highs in the 30s from the northern interior valleys on out to the Arctic coast.